Over the past couple of weeks, a very serious situation has been unfolding with two large YouTube creators at its center, SniperWolf and JacksFilms, spanning several stages and allegations, starting with content theft and freebooting, putting a spotlight on where the line is between criticism and harassment, and concluding in a very unnerving way with the doxing of a creator's home address. While this topic has been circulating for some time already, I feel like it has largely lacked the nuanced approach that I think it deserves. So today we're going to dissect what happened on the evening of October 13th, everything that has led up to that, YouTube's response to the unprecedented outrage that it generated, and what all of the implications of this incident are. And just as a heads up, I will go into a few points towards the end of the video that a lot of people may not agree with me on, but that I think are very necessary for a cerebral and balanced look at the situation. And speaking of which, if you're into developing your brain and putting your neurons to work in a fun and engaging way, you're going to love our sponsor for today, Brilliant. With a vast array of lessons spanning various subjects like math, logic, astrophysics, or neural networks, Brilliant offers an engaging and interactive learning experience. Upon signing up, Brilliant personalizes the lessons based on your proficiency level through a few tailored questions. As you delve into the interactive challenges and puzzles, you'll find yourself learning effortlessly. It's an enjoyable and stimulating platform, particularly beneficial for visual learners like myself. And you can try Brilliant completely free for a full 30 days and get 20% off your annual premium subscription by visiting brilliant.org/AndreiTserba. That's AndreiTerba. The moment you try it, it will probably become your new favorite activity on your journey as a lifelong learner. Thanks to Brilliant for sponsoring us. Now let's get back into our video. While the doxing of JacksFilms has been a fiery topic in many corners of the YouTube community, I'm sure there's people watching this video who are yet unaware of who these people even are. So let's first and foremost set the stage. SniperWolf is a highly controversial creator with over 30 million subscribers on YouTube and over 60 million subscribers across all of her social media accounts. Throughout the many years that she's been active on this platform, she's found herself at the center of controversy after controversy. One of her first breakthrough moments was when, in 2013, she exposed another female creator named Girl Gone Gamer for using somebody else's gaming footage. She very quickly went from having a relatively small but steadily growing audience to over 100,000 subscribers in just a few weeks, solidifying her brand as a trustworthy, real gamer girl at a time when there really wasn't much competition in this genre. Her first controversy came in 2013 in the form of copyright striking a content creator who went by the name of Enigmahood, who criticized the content that she was making. While this guy was, at the very least, sketchy, she had no basis to take down his videos. In 2016, she did it yet again with a commentary creator who went by Herotic, continuing to set a scornful tone for her relationship with the wider creator community. As she became more and more popular, she seemed to make a habit of gossiping other female streamers and making negative comments towards them, particularly around plastic surgery. A lot of people found this to be hypocritical, since her own appearance had changed a lot by that point, and she was very obviously photoshopping her Instagram pictures as well. Her behavior progressively alienated her from other creators, and viewers' terrible impression of SniperWolf got so bad that whenever some other creator associated with her in public, they would get clamored by their fans into breaking ties with her. So much so that SniperWolf stepped away from social media and decided to simply focus on churning out easily digestible reaction content at an impressive pace. She obviously found a hole in the algorithm because by repeating the same stale formats over and over again, she had reached a point where she consistently got well over 500 million views every single month. At this point, although her reputation was terrible and no other content creator wanted to associate with her, she didn't seem fazed, as she had a large pool of mainly young viewers who consumed her content at a faster rate than she could produce it. But probably the worst offense of them all was when it was brought to her attention that a 10-year-old girl named Kiara, who was terminally ill, wanted to meet her as one of her final wishes. Despite the situation being dire, SniperWolf kept postponing meeting the child several times, until only after the mother sent a harsh, disappointed message, she finally sent a video and exchanged a few words with Kiara, just days before the girl unfortunately passed away. So even though she never met her in person, at the very least she got to somewhat fulfill Kiara's wish. It's obvious then that there had been a lot of rage bubbling up against SniperWolf for a long time. Many small creators had been making videos on her on a regular basis, and it was only a matter of time before somebody with a larger platform put the uncomfortable spotlight directly on her. John Patrick Douglas, aka Jax Films, has been a creator on YouTube since the summer of 2006, long before millions of views was a regular thing, and long before you could even earn money by uploading videos to the internet. He rose to fame with viral comedy sketches and parody videos, but also with series like Your Grammar Sucks and Jackask. He successfully added his own twist to one of the formats that every other YouTuber was making back then, and instead of responding to his audience's questions, he began asking the viewers questions and featured their creative responses. The series was called Yesterday I Asked You, or YAI, a formula which was also adopted and popularized by PewDiePie later on. Jax Films, currently at almost 5 million subscribers, established himself throughout the years as not just an OG, but as a figure of authority who would put everything under a sarcastic, scrutinizing magnifying glass. In 2015, he led a campaign against the rapidly growing genre of lazy reaction channels, particularly against a YouTuber named Jinx, arguing that his low-effort reactions were nothing more than content theft, as he wasn't adding any extra value for the viewers, but benefited greatly from using the content he quote-unquote reacted to. So in 2023, as Sniperwolf gained this incredible traction with her lazy TikTok reactions, Jax Films was possibly the only authoritative voice that could draw attention to her shenanigans in an effective way. The issue was not just the lack of effort on her part, but that she didn't credit the original source of the videos she was reacting to. Many creative videos would get exposure to millions of eyeballs, and yet never benefit from it because she would crop out their names. Eventually, Jax Films made an entirely new channel dedicated specifically to Sniperwolf, playing a bingo game with his audience where they would watch her videos and tick off annoying catchphrases, recurring stock sound effects, verbal tics, and so on. We're going to get back to this in a bit because the Sniperwolf bingo has been, in my opinion, a double-edged sword, but it is also what prompted Sniperwolf to take things way too far. In theater, stage actors are generally confined within 3 physical walls. The 4th one is missing so that the audience can bear witness to what's happening on stage, but it's conventionally agreed upon that the wall is still there, only invisible. Once in a while, it can be entertaining when a character interacts with the audience, hence the phrase breaking the 4th wall, but only when it advances the plot or the experience in some way. If an actor would suddenly start yelling towards the audience, or drag another actor and throw them off the stage, the whole theater room would erupt into chaos. YouTube drama is exactly like that. There is an unspoken rule that whenever 2 creators are beefing, it has to be confined within the walls, if you will, of content creation. Diss tracks are a great example of this, whereby each person is trying to one-up the other and win the viewers over through their content. But Sniperwolf did the unspeakable. She broke the 4th wall of YouTube drama by going to Jax Films' house and posting a picture of it to her 6 million followers on Instagram. For several days following the incident, despite absolute outrage coming from the YouTube community, she doubled down on her actions, minimizing their significance and even trying to spin it back on Jax Films, at one point suggesting that she should be getting a restraining order against him. The danger that she brought to his front door, quite literally, is unquestionable. As a female streamer who tends to rely very much on her looks, her audience will of course mainly consist of male viewers, a portion of which would likely do anything to gain her favor. So of her 6 million Instagram fans, it's enough for just one to be a deranged fellow who would take it upon himself to protect the honor of his internet queen. YouTube, however, did not see things in this way. After about a week of silence from YouTube, their response left many people disappointed, confirming Sniperwolf has received a temporary monetization suspension per creator responsibility policies. Off-platform actions that put others' personal safety at risk harm our community, and the behavior on both sides isn't what we want on YouTube. Hoping everyone helps move this convo to a better place. The part where they talk about the quote-unquote both sides riled up the community in a big way, because Sniperwolf almost committed a crime, and she got away with a proverbial slap on the wrist. What could possibly be the equivalent on Jax Films' side that they had to go out of their way to say both sides? Well, and I know I'm gonna get a lot of flack for saying this, technically, a lot of what Jax Films has been doing on the dedicated bingo channel is against YouTube's terms of service. While his motives may have been positive, i.e. to shed light on Sniperwolf's freebooting tactics and the intentional lack of crediting original sources, the results are nevertheless bordering on harassment. To further illustrate this point, we have to go go back to 2020, when a channel roughly the same size as Jack's Films, run by a creator called Calvin Lee Vale, was terminated after the guy made 9 videos revolving around Twitch streamer Pokimane. And mind you, 9 videos is a lot, but Jack's Films has not only made way more, like dozens of videos on Sniper Wolf, but he even made a new channel specifically targeting her. I'm not saying it's universally a good thing or a bad thing, that's not my place to judge. I'm just saying the terms of service of the platform the videos were posted on are against this type of content. So by the same logic that got Vale's channel terminated with no recourse in 2020, common sense would dictate that the same treatment be applied to Jack's Films. Either both channels get terminated or neither of them does. There's an obvious double standard here. I mean, people were revolted that Sniper Wolf got preferential treatment. She's even been called YouTube's quote-unquote golden child. But putting emotions aside for a second, Jack's Films is very much a YouTube golden child in his own right. Over the past years, he's been a recurring VidCon featured creator. He's won awards sponsored by YouTube directly. He is very much a part of the inner circle of YouTube's most valued creators. Yes, what Sniper Wolf has done is despicable and dangerous. That is not the point I'm arguing against. The point is that if YouTube TOS were to be indiscriminately applied, then Jack's Films would have also been in big trouble a long time ago. Now, does this mean the doxing was justified? Absolutely not. It is objectively disproportionately more harmful. But by looking at the YouTube guidelines more closely, we can at least understand what they meant when they were talking about both sides being in the wrong. Again, this is not a popular opinion, and I fully expect to get passionate disagreeing comments on this video, but I had to speak up my mind on this topic regardless. And just as I'm wrapping up the animation for this video, it looks like Jack's Films has released a statement explaining that he will be moving away from criticizing Sniper Wolf and instead turn the channel into a haven of constructive criticism for beginner content creators, which on one hand is a very noble way to shift directions, but also it kind of confirms my line of thinking over the previous couple of weeks. So in the end, what does this entire series of events mean for the YouTube community at large? Well, not much. Smaller creators will never get the same treatment as either of these two. The narrative thus far has been about how this is setting a dangerous precedent, how one side is the perpetrator and the other the victim, and so on, when in reality, it's a little bit more complicated, as most things in life generally tend to be. But I welcome any and all opinions down below. Let me know what you think about this entire situation. As always, thank you for watching, and we'll see you again very soon.